fire in the rain. It's the smile within the pain. It's the logic but insane.
That was the camera that started it all. So someone asked me a few days ago, how did I get to be a landscape photographer? And I thought that was such a good question that I kind of wanted to share how this actually got to be. And first time I actually practiced photography, I took a black and white photography class in college. That was like maybe more than 10 years ago. And for me, it was kind of like really fun. I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed processing my own film, processing my own prints. So from then, it just became a hobby. So I started buying all this equipment and practicing, and I decided to study it commercially. And I did all kinds of weddings. I did portraits, I did a little bit of fashion, I did products, and nothing really stuck in out of all these things. I didn't enjoy any of those. Until a couple of years ago, I took a trip to Yosemite National Park in California. And for me, that was kind of the moment, I think, where it all changed, where I really figured out what I want to be shooting. I mean, who doesn't love to shoot landscapes? I'm sure some people doesn't, but I found it to be just so inspiring and had so much fun shooting it that I just wanted to be a landscape photographer. And that was the moment for me that this whole journey I'm on right now, it started pretty much. I think it all started back there. Even though the first time I picked up a camera was back in college, that was important, but the really turning point for me was that trip to Yosemite. It was only 3 days. I went there camping and I enjoyed all of it. Like, I never felt more at peace and more relaxed than I did there. So this whole time I was living near all these parks and I never really thought of going. Up until that time, I went to that park. I started going around all the parks that are around me, discovering them, and it all led to YouTube eventually and starting my channel, because you know I've been going out shooting for a longer time than I've been doing YouTube, and you know it all fell into place as the times went by. This is a journey that, you know, they also told me, oh, that must be such a satisfying, fascinating career, and it is. But you know, that's just, when you look at it from the outside, it is a fascinating career, but when you delve into it, it's a little bit more difficult, because it's hard making money with landscape photography. You gotta really work at it. So the journey is not over here. This is just the beginning. It's gonna take maybe a couple more years to get really anywhere substantial, maybe even more. But just to know that you're kinda on the right step, it definitely, for me, makes me feel like I finally figured out what I want to do, and I'm just satisfied with what I'm doing, and I feel like I'm on the right track. So I kind of also wanted to know, for you guys, what's your story? If you like to shoot photography, any kind of photography, whether portrait, fashion, weddings, how did you get into photography? What's your story? Because I like to hear stories, so make sure you share yours in the comments and let me know how did you guys get your start as well? Because I find that part really, really interesting. I mean, it's such a good question, so I'd like to know. And that's kind of it for today, just a quick video. I mean, I feel like I had to do this video because the question, when I was asked, I was answering the person, and I felt like, man, this is such a good question. I feel like I should ask everybody on YouTube how they got their beginning as well. So that's kind of it for today, and hopefully you guys like this short video, and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and make sure you hit that bell button too, in case so whenever I put a new video you will get a notification. Alright, see you, bye.